A friendly reminder, don't let the square look like garbage. Take your trash with you when you leave. Don't let the Rittenhouse Park turn to ashes. Keep this alive, right? William Penn laid out these incredible green spaces so I can find zen and peace amongst the chaos of Philadelphia. What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Just out on the streets of Philly this morning with the Ricoh GR3 and the Ricoh GR3X, right? Doing the dual wielding just to test it out because I haven't really given it too much of a try, and I figure, yeah, for my first day out in Philly, let me give it a shot just to see how it works. I genuinely think that it's maybe overkill just as like my first impression, because I am usually just like a one sort of camera kind of guy where I just like to be in the zone with one, but it doesn't get in the way, at least, you know. It's very light and just hangs on the neck, and I can also tuck it under my layer if I want to, but I don't know, I think that just generally it's better to just keep it simple. But yeah, I think why not just explore and just test it out before I make any sort of conclusions, basically. Yeah, here on Walnut Street. Yeah, you know, I think it's kind of a good sort of way of doing things with photography, to just keep it simple in general, right? Shooting with the small JPEG, shooting the high contrast black and white. I don't have to go home and process any files. I don't have to think about anything. If it's in front of me, I just take a picture, right? I just kind of react and follow my intuition. And what the camera sees is what you get, right? I'm merely curious about the results, right? What will a photograph manifest to be in reality? And yeah, I found a simple process that works for me that, yeah, it really does make my life a lot easier, much more simple. And ultimately, it brings me way more joy in my photography. You know, you wind up becoming more curious each day through the simplification of the process, because it's so easy to sort of just go out there and have it in your pocket. This is why Ricoh really is the king for this kind of photography, right? This sort of artistic approach, street photography. And
you can't touch the Lagos glass.
yeah, I mean, yesterday I was walking around and I saw there was a lot of news coverage on this street. Apparently the Lululemon was looted. Look, they're folding clothes inside. Yeah, they got a lot of clothes on the floor, and the Apple store was also looted. That was burnt down a couple years back. Yeah, the city is kind of wild. Like, as soon as I came back, there's all this kind of like crazy stuff going on, and it's like I don't even check the news. I just kind of listen to the streets. Like, there were some guys on the streets like that were talking about, oh, like some homeless guy, he had like a cell phone. He was like, oh, this guy gave me a phone, but it's illegal. He's like, I don't know what to do with it. It's like, what the hell's going on? You know, what's interesting about modern cities that I've come to a conclusion, like, you know, just like some like interesting sort of thoughts maybe. Nothing's really happening. Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds crazy, but just hear me out, right? People are going into the offices to sort of just like shuffle data around, right? The people that are doing stuff are actually like the guys that are like pushing these things around and like moving like physical packages and delivering goods to other people and moving their physical bodies, right? Like, this guy's doing something. He's bringing the bagels to feed people at this place. But like, I would say like the majority of people are just shuffling data around. Like, it's just a weird thought, like just thinking carte blanche, like just thinking like I just was born today, like, oh, what's going on in this town, right? It just seems like nothing. Like, people are just like looking into like a black box or a screen and shuffling data around, like, honestly. It's weird. I don't know, is anything really happening in the modern cities in America? I don't know. But yeah, so like approaching the photography with the simplified sort of setup and system of doing things is nice. You know, just experimenting with the dual setup. We'll see how it goes. But in general, I think, like, you know, the goal is to make new pictures and to remain forever curious, right? And to just keep going out there and, like, you know, forget about your old pictures, forget about your archive, right? I've been photographing for, like, here's the Apple store. They have, like, it's closed down. Our retail store is temporarily closed. You have to go to their website. I'm losing my train of thought. Look, cause look, everything's like boarded up. Even this is boarded up. Yo, nothing is actually happening in modern cities. It's just people are just shuffling data around and stealing things. This is crazy. But yeah, no, oh, look at this detail. I like this sort of stuff. What I noticed is the macro feature on the GR3 is better than the GRIIX, so you can get a lot closer with the 28. Also, I think the Ricoh locks up way too much. Like, check this out, it's like glitching, and I don't know, maybe it has to do with like the power, like switching from macro mode and stuff. It's always done that, like even from when I first purchased the GRIIX or the GR3, like, message to Ricoh, yeah, fix the power. Like, it just needs a stronger battery or something that can operate this lens retraction system, because it does lock up. I mean, it's like, it's not the biggest deal for me. I just deal with it and keep shooting. I really don't, I don't know. I mean, you would just think, like, for an expensive camera that it would actually function like 100%, but yeah, it does actually have these issues, so it's kind of a problem, but whatever. Nothing's perfect. Perfect is boring anyway. But yeah, new pictures are the goal, right? To go out there and keep making new pictures, to remain curious, to wake up each day like it is a blank slate, to just sort of have fun, question things, be in a state of play, you know, see the world from a childlike perspective each day, right? When you make pictures in an autotelic approach and you treat the world like your canvas and you're just out there exploring and making things in this sort of flow state where you shut things off and you're just in the zone, in your Zen zone, and you're not expecting any external sort of validation for the work, it's actually the most blissful state you can achieve, where you go home and you're curious about what pictures you made, and you know, it's mostly a selfish act, photography, I still believe, but it does allow you to be fully immersed in the moment itself, in life, and achieve you know, this sort of joyous state where, yeah, everything becomes beautiful again. When you wake up in the morning, it's like a mini birth. When you go to sleep at night, it's like a mini death. I like looking up at these buildings. Switch to the GR3X because you can get closer to the buildings, actually. It's kind of nice about having two cameras to switch between the two sort of use cases. Maybe that's one of the benefits. Yeah, but to achieve that flow state and that sort of state of creating with bliss, you must recognize the connection between your eyes, your mind, your body, your soul, and the connections between you and nature itself, as well as the patterns in human behavior. So yeah, just observing the repetition and practicing each day on the streets, you can become sort of in tune with not only your physiology, but the place in which you're photographing, where you move your physical body through the world, looking and observing, extracting and abstracting reality, right? As the goal is to depict what reality could be, right? To abstract the world around you, to create a sublime work of art. right? I think it's interesting actually to play with the aesthetics and to push what a photograph can be, to make a photograph darker than what it could, you know, be with the way that you sort of set your exposure compensation, right? Play with the exposure compensation, set it to be -0.3, -0.7, -1, -2. Like, let's see how dark we can make our images. How sublime can they be? Beyond beauty. A new aesthetic. I think it's nice to push as there are no limits, right? Like, the idea of going out there with this approach is, yeah, there's just like limitless sort of possibilities, and you will forever find opportunities to make new work. As the street is the stage, you are the conductor of the orchestra. Everything is out of your control while simultaneously being in your control, which is kind of awesome. Like, you just let the chips fall as they may, right? Everything's kind of just chaotic on the streets. You know, focus on this tie. You know, don't trust people in suits. They're always on their phone. So yeah, just create in a flow state, and the motivation is in your legs.